on the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And I know that's a particular favorite of yours. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about, given the negative economic sentiment, I wanted you to talk a little bit about the distinction between a fixed and a growth mindset and why that's more relevant now than ever.
Well, as you know, Mornay, the book Mindset, which is about 15 years old now, written by Dweck, is in my top 5 books of all time. And what she basically says is that people come in one of 2 categories: a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. The beauty of it is you aren't destined to be in one or the other. You can choose to be in a fixed or growth mindset at any stage and at any time of your life. So, in an economy that is looking like it's going to push our backs to the wall and be more difficult than the one we've been experiencing for a decade or more, a fixed mindset person would look at that and woe is me. There's nothing I can do about it. My business is going to be negatively impacted. My financial strength is going to be weakened. My cash flow is going to be weakened. And they go to a negative, dark place. A growth mindset person says, okay, let's deal with the reality that it's going to be more difficult than it has been. But what is it that I can do that will make the difference and make me be at the top of the performers as opposed to just surrendering? And so a growth mindset is a person who's focused on that which they have control of. That's really one of the keys is, hey, rather than get upset about all of the things that you hear on the news, who always are always peddling bad news, disasters. We don't talk about all the planes that successfully took off and landed. We only talk about the one that crashed. And so a growth mindset person is fixated on the desired goal, the destination. What can I do? Focus on that which you have control over. So you know this, but for the listener and the viewer, I think it's important to understand, as an example, is that when the pandemic hit, we went into lockdown in March of 2020. I watched the speaker world collapse. They basically said, I'm out of business. The majority of speakers said, look, I'm in front of large groups of people and I travel to get there, most by plane. I can't get on a plane and I can't be in front of people. And so I'm broke. That's a fixed mindset. What I said was, the people out there in the sales and the CEO business owner world need me more than ever. How do we transition through this pandemic? And so I need to find a way to communicate with them and give them the tools to be successful. So the following month, I ended up having a professional group of people come in and build me a studio at home with all of the lights and cameras and all of the things that I needed in order to go and be virtual. Now that's interesting, because in March we locked down, in April we built the studio, and check this out. I set a Guinness World Record in June for the largest attendance for a virtual business conference of 21,261 people. And Mornay, you know that my business actually went up during the pandemic because pre-pandemic, I limited the number of engagements I would do because I didn't want to be in hotels all the time. But when I was able to just do it from my home, instead of averaging 8 gigs a month, I averaged 15 to 17 gigs a month, and most of them were in the morning, and I could be on the golf course in the afternoon. Like, this is a beautiful thing. So I looked at that world quite a bit different than, if you will, my competitors. And I know we want to go quickly here, but let me give you just one other example because it's so pertinent to the world right now. In the beginning of this year, 30-year fixed rate interest rates on mortgages were right around 3%. In fact, we saw some 2 and change type of thing. Today, 11 months later, we're over 6%. An awful lot of fixed mindset people in that industry are saying, I got to go find work somewhere else. No one's going to do a mortgage loan at 6% plus. Now, I cut my teeth as a salesperson professionally in the mortgage business quite a long time ago, and 30-year fixed rates were 17.5%. And I watched the community of salespeople say, I got to go find something else to do. No one will do a loan at 17.5%. The growth mindset guy, who I am, said, well, people have to live somewhere. They don't have the cash to buy a home. Therefore, they're going to borrow money. And if there are fewer people to borrow from, that means more to me. And so I was able to generate more business rather than less business. And by the way, when the rates started going down to 12%, it was cause for a ticker tape parade. Does life get any better? It's 12%. And the people now are in the mindset of going, how am I going to be successful in a 6% market? It's all between our ears. That's 6 inches. We have to position it in a growth mindset versus fixed. Yep.